So now let's play with the animation a little bit more. So now in this video we will be making a bouncy heart animation. Now you will find this animation in your Instagram app. When you will click on the like button of a Instagram post, then you will see a kind of a bouncy heart, right? So let's see how to do that. So first of all, we need to create a basic UI, like we need to render the cards in on our screens, right? So first let's do that. So in here I'll be using flat list. So I have created an empty project with Expo. Okay, I can get rid of these two things: justify content and line items. Okay, yeah, and I need a card in here. So I'll be first of all I need to create a data, right? Which where I'll be iterating, right? I'll be iterating over this data. So I need to create a data in here, and this will be an array, and it will have a number of objects. It will have an ID for, let's say, let's give it a 1, and it will have a URI. And let's go to Unsplash and let's copy any random URL, Unsplash, and maybe if you can scroll down, we'll pick any address of an image. So maybe this one, maybe doesn't matter. Copy image address, and we will paste in here, control V, right? Okay, now here I will go to the end, and here I'll put a comma in here. And now what I will do, I will select this line, and I'll duplicate that by pressing Alt Shift down key maybe 4 times. Now in here I'll give this ID 2, ID 3, ID 4, and I'll be making use of card from React Native Paper. So I have already installed the React Native Paper. If you haven't installed that, you can install that, because we have done that so many times. Because that is why I don't want to waste time in installing library. NATI native, NATI, yeah, this one, React Native Paper, and that something is called CA card. Yeah, okay, if you haven't installed this library, you can do that, right? It's not at all a big deal. Okay, just hit npm install react-native.paper. okay, now we can get rid of this text. Instead here I'll be using flat list, not like that, FLAT, flat list, and we can self close it. In here, first of all, we need to give this a data prop, right? In which data we want to iterate. So we want to iterate in the data, right, which we created above. And here we can add a key extractor to dynamically give the keys. And here we'll be receiving item, and we can, from this item, we can access that ID, and we are giving this ID as a unique key. Now in here, finally, render items. Okay, this is basically a function, and from this function we want to destructure item, right? item. Okay, now this function will return a card, return a card, which will be coming from React Native Paper. Okay, so now let's see what we will be putting inside this card. So for that, let's search for here card. Okay, so here card has an image, as you can see. Okay, so yeah, we want this image, and yeah, we just want image and maybe some button, right? Okay, so we'll copy this card action, and we will copy this card cover, right? It has an image, control C. Okay, and control V. Yeah, and instead of this button like cancel and this, I will be replacing this with a heart icon. For that I'll be going to Expo vector icons. Yeah, this one. Okay, now let's search for heart icon. Okay, so we have that from OnDesign, and yeah, maybe it is one is with outlined and one is filled heart. Okay, we will be using both of them. Okay, we will be using both of them. Okay, so first of all we need to import something from @expo / vector icons, and the something is called OnDesign. And I will remove these buttons, and instead I'll using OnDesign, and the name will be heart, and size will be maybe around 30, and the color will be red. Let's save this, and let's have a look on our emulator, right? So this is refreshing, and here we got the cards, but oh, we forgot to change the URL. So this URL will be coming from item dot URI like so. Let's save this now, and this is fine for now. Okay, this UI is fine. Okay, now I want to toggle when I first of all I want the heart to be outlined. When I will be clicking on this heart should be changed to filled, right? Yeah, so right now first I want outline. For that I can here put a heart O, right? Here you can see heart O is for just outlined, right? If I save this now in here, you will see that heart is now outlined. So now what I want when user clicks on is this should be filled, right? Okay, so in order to do that, it's pretty straightforward. For that we need to import first of all use state hook, use state hook, right? And we need to create a state const equal to use state, and initially I will give this a false value, false, and maybe here I can write liked and set liked, set liked. Okay, and if user passes on this art, right, if user passes on this, right, here I'll be attaching on press, and if user presses on this we will be changing the state set liked, and this will be the inverse of the current value. So here I am using this not to make it inverse, so inverse of the current value, which is liked. So if this value will be true, right, then the whole expression will become false. If this value is false, then whole expression will become true, right? Okay, because I have put a not in here. Okay, and now in here I can add an expression, right? If liked is true, then we want to return heart, else we want to return this heart 0. Control X and Control V. Let's save this and let's see if this works. If we click on this, so you can see now all the hearts are filled. If we again click it, then again state updates, and now heart are unfilled, or the icon is changing to outline. Okay, so this is perfect. Now I want to add a bouncy animation, right? So we will display a big heart which will bounce, right? Okay, so first we will be again using our Design, right? And we want to make this again, we'll be making use of the heart icon from the Design, but I want to this time I want to make animatable, right? So you know, when we want to make this a view animatable, so we just put animated keyword in the front of that view, right? But you know, we want to make this Design animatable. Now whenever we want to make any component other than view, for that we need to make that component animatable first. Let's say we want to make this flat list animatable, right? So here I cannot do something like that. Here I cannot do an animated dot flat list to make it animatable. First I need to make this flat list animated by using a method from animated library, right? Okay, so we will be using that method. So let me show you. I will give this a name of ANI animated icon maybe. Now in here we will be making this Design animatable, right? So how to do that? Here I'll be using this animated ANI animated, and it has a create. Oh, why the hell we are not getting suggestions in here? So it has create create animated component. Here keep an eye on A and see a camel cased, right? And inside this we can pass Design like so. Oh, I think we haven't imported animated, right? That is why we were not getting suggestions. animated. Okay, let's hover over this. Okay, so this is correct. Okay, so now this Design is animatable, right? So here now we can use this before flat list. Here animated, oh, not what was the variable name, animated icon, right? This animated icon we just created, we can self close it, right? Let's give this a name of, let's say, heart, and size will be, let's say, around 50 for now, and we will give this a color of red. Let's save this and let's see if this comes up, or yeah, it is showing. But you know, I don't want to show this heart in here. I want to show this heart somewhere on the middle in here, right? Okay, so I need to give a little bit of the style to this, right? So I will write everything on the new line so that it is readable. Okay, now I'll be adding a style, right, to this. So I'll be making the first of all the position POSI position to absolute ABSOLU, absolute ABSOLUT, right? BSOLUT. And from top it will be, let's say, 150 units, and from uh, uh, and from left maybe around 40% of the screen, right? And let's save this and let's see if how it looks like. Oh, so now heart is not being visible because heart is lying behind the card, so I need to make this heart to come in front of the card. So for that, here I can add elevation, right? Really VA elevation, and you can put any positive number, let's say 4, right? Let's save this, and yeah, here, yeah, now you can see our heart is visible. Now this elevation doesn't work on iOS. For iOS you can add here Z index, right? INDEX Z index, and you can put any positive number, right? This elevation only works on iOS, Android, and for iOS you can put Z index so that the heart can come in front of, oh, heart and can come in front of the cards. Okay, yeah, so this is it, right? Now let's start animating this card, right? This heart, I can just decrease a little bit of the from the top, right? I can decrease a little bit of the top, right? Units from the top. So let's see if top is 120, and okay, now it's fine. Okay, so let's start animating this card. Okay, so let's create here something, maybe const current current value. I'll give it a name of current value, and here I'll be using new and new animated dot value, right? Here first of all value will be 1. Now why this is 1, I'll be explaining you in just a minute. Now here you can see I'm using just value, I'm not using value xy because I don't want to use 2 dimension, right? I just want to stick to this 1 dimension. That is why I'm using this, not using xy. I'm just using just the value. Okay, yeah, okay. And yeah, now what I will do, when user will press on this button, right, I want to start the animation, right? And I want to scale this size of this, right? I want to scale the size of it. Now right now the scale is 1, right? We will increase the scale to, let's say, 2, right? Okay, so in order to do that, we'll be making use of a use effect hook, right? Now why I am using use effect, I will explain you in just a second, right? First of all, let me write some of the code part. Here I'll be using use effect, and here use effect, or we can use it in here, right? Here all the initialization stuff are in here. Here we can use effect, and inside this I'll be animating the stuff. Now why I'm using this use effect, I'll just explain you in just a second. Just wait for a few seconds. Now here I'll be using a spring, spring, right? I want to spring from the current value to value. So I just want to scale the value from 1 to, let's say, 2 in here, just okay. Yeah, and I need to start that animation dot strt start, like so. Now in here in use effect we can pass another option, another argument, that is a dependency list, right? Okay, now in this dependency I'll be passing liked, this one, where is yeah, this one. So now the use effect will kick in when this liked will be changed, then when this like will get changed. Now use effect will only kick in then this when like will be changed. And use effect also kicks in when we are running a app for the very first time. When our component mounts, then also use effect kicks in, and use effect will kick in when we will be pressing this like button. Now I don't want this use effect to kick in when components mount, right? For that, here I'll be adding a if condition. This animation will only get kicked in if this liked is true, right? liked is true, equal to true. Right now this liked is false, right? So this animation, this use effect will not kick in, right? Here I will put all the codes inside in this if condition. Okay, now this will use effect will kick in when this liked value will change. Now when this value will change, when we will be clicking on this button, right? Okay, and now here I need to change the style of that, right? I need to change the style of that. Okay, so let me write this. Let me align all the properties in here. I'll add a style now. Okay, now in this style I'll be adding a transform in here, trans, right? We have used it so many times now, transform, transform, and this is basically an array. Inside this array we can put translate x, translate y, but here we will be using SCA, scale. Now the scale value will be the current value equal to current value, right, which we created in here, and this value will change from this current value to scale 2 when we will be clicking on this button, right? And when we will be clicking on this button, then this code will execute, right? So this is kind of a callback, right? This is kind of a callback. When our state changes or when our state updates, then only this function will fire, then only this code will fire. So this is, you can consider it as a callback, right? So when our state updates, then this callback will fire, okay, and which will animate the value, right? Okay, let's save this and let's see if this works. Okay, and now I will be clicking on this button. Oh, I will be clicking on this button. Something is wrong in here. Oh, my bad. I have added a style to this icon. I want to add a style to this, right? And right now this is also not working because this, we haven't said this card is to be of animated, right? So I'll cut this code, Control X. Instead I want to add this to this animatable icon, right? Okay. Yeah, okay. Control V. I'll add a comma in here. Let's save this. Oh, not, my bad. Control Z, Control Z. I'll Control Z, Control Z. Okay, I just need this transform, right? Control X and comma, Control V, right? And I can get rid of this style from in here, right? Okay, let's save this and let's see how now it works or not. We will be clicking on this button. Attempted to assign read only property. Let me see what went wrong. Okay, trans. Oh, I made a typo in here, just a spelling mistake. Transform. Okay, and now it should work. If you click on this, okay, now you can see this icon is getting scaled up, right? And if I uncheck it again, this resets its position now. But you know, this is not bouncy, right now this is not a bouncy effect. Now to make this bouncy, we can in here add a friction, I guess. Yeah, friction. Let's give it a value of 2, and now let's see if how it looks like. If I press this, here you can see now this is bouncy, right? Okay, but what I want to do, if user clicks on this like, it should be visible for some time, and when the animation finished, this should be again get invisible. Now you know, here when we are clicking this is getting scale up. Now you know, I want to scale it down also, this card, right? So you know, we want to add a callback when this animation finishes, then we want to reset this heart position to the default, right? Okay, to the default value, right? This on this value, right? How to do that? Now you know, when animation finishes and we want to add a callback, then you know, we can add this inside this start. Now this is basically a callback. As you can see, we can add a callback inside this start. Okay, now again we can make use of animated, right? And in here we can make use of spring. Now we will again animate that from the current value to value of, let's say, 1. Again we will scale it to 1, right? Okay, let's see now how it looks like. If we press this, it scales up and it will it is not. Oh, I need to call the start in here, strt. Why I always forgot to call start, my bad. Okay, so okay, now you can see the, if again we want to do the play that again, if I click on it, it bounces and it again resets its size. Okay, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, it's amazing, right? It is amazing. Okay, now I want this heart to be invisible. It should be only visible when we are clicking this, and when I, okay, it should be only trigger when we are clicking this, and it should get invisible again. Okay, so for that, in here we need to make another hook, another state, const uns const visible visible and visible and set set visible, and initially this will not be visible, so I'll give this initial value of false, right? Now when this callback, when this animation finishes, then we can hide that, right? We can change this value, right? So here in this start I can add another callback, right? In this callback I'll update the state, right? I'll make this invisible. So for that, here yeah, for that I'll again just make the set visible to false, so that it should not be visible once the animation is finished, false. And when this will be true, when we will be clicking on this button, right, on this button, the animation will start, right? So animation will be visible, or the icon will be visible, yeah, to be more specific. And here we can call set visible, and it should be true. Okay, now we can add a little conditions to this icon. In here we can add visible is true, then only to show this icon. If visible is true, then only you should show this icon. Now here you can see I have used this AND. Now this expression is always true, this is always true. Now this, if visible will be true, now this whole expression will evaluate to true. If visible is false, then this whole expression will evaluate to false, and we will not be able to see anything on this screen. And oh, I have forgot to copy that as well, Control X and Control V. Okay, yeah, so let's save this, right? And now test it out. If we press this, now again you can see heart is visible, and then heart should become invisible, right? If I unlike it, oh, again this heart is visible. If I unlike it, now I don't want this animation to be triggered when this heart is unlike, right? Yeah, now when we are clicking on this right now, this is changing, right? This visible is changing, and this is making this an animation to show again. Now for that, in here I can add a condition in here. If liked equal to false, 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 then only I want to make it visible, right? Okay, I'll explain you what the code is doing for us. First let me check it out. Why it is showing for the very first time. Let me reload this. Okay, so right now nothing is visible. If I press this, our animation comes up and it again get hidden. If I unlike it, now we cannot see that animation, right? If I like that again, here we can see. Now you know this is a kind of a lagging in emulator. When you will test it on real device, you will absolutely love it. This animation will be quite smoother in real device. Okay, when I unlike it, nothing happens, right? So right now our liked is false, right? So when we will be clicking on this button, then set visible will trigger, right? So which will show the icon, right? Now this icon is getting shown, right? Now this liked is now true. Again, if we click on this, this will not trigger, because right now this liked is true. As you can see, liked is true. So this expression will become false, and this code will not execute when we will again click on this button right now, because the liked is true. So yeah, so this will become false, and this code will not execute, right? Okay, so yeah, this is what if condition is doing for us, right? This code will not execute. Now again this liked become false now. So now if we click again in here, this code will execute, right? Okay, this is how things are working in here. Okay, but there is a little issue not related to animation. Our animation is beautiful, isn't it? Right, it is little bit of the glitch, right? It is little bit not that smooth, but that is because of we are running it on an emulator, right? That is why this is not that smooth, but when you will do that on real device, you will absolutely love it. Okay, yeah. Right now when we are clicking on this card, now you can see all the cards are being liked in here. Okay, let's say if we click on the single card, this single card should be filled, right? The heart should be filled only in this card, not in all the cards. Now in here, in order to do that, you can take advantage of the index in here. You can destructure index from in here. Now in here we need to make another use state hook, const countr counter, and set countr counter and use state, and we will you can put any negative value in here, -1, -2, anything. I will explain you why we are putting a negative in here. Now when we will be clicking on this button, I will set counter to the index. I'll make it equal to the index, right? And we are receiving that index in here, right? Now if this is liked, and I can put and in here, oh, not this, and it is what the index index is equal to counter, right? Again a question mark. Okay, now this both the expressions becomes true, then this heart will be visible. Now this when this expression will become true, when we will be clicking on this, right? Okay, clicking on this. Okay, let me save and let me explain you. Okay, now if I click on this, now you can see this particular card is being filled, right? It is this heart is not being filled in all the cards. Now this particular heart of this card is being only filled. Okay, if I click on this, now again this heart becomes unfilled, right? Again this become filled, because we are just working with the front end. We are not persisting that we have liked this card right now. So yeah, this is the default behavior, but for now we are not doing something related to backend. We are just understanding the animations, and that is okay. Now how this counter works is, first of all we are giving it a negative value, so this expression becomes false. So we are seeing only outline card in here. Okay, when we will be clicking on the counter, now when we will be clicking on the counter, right, on the particular card, the counter becomes equal to the index. In that case, both this expression evaluates to true, then we are able to show the heart, right? So we are able to see the filled heart, right? Okay, so when this expression is becoming true, when we are setting the counter equal to index of that particular card, right? Okay, that is how things are being happen in here. So the main purpose was of this video was to make you understand the animation, and I'm loving this animation in here. Okay, so maybe in the next video we'll play with the animation more. So this is it for this video. So see you guys in the next video.